Hello, modern people. Welcome to the last video series of the year. It's going to be divided in two parts. And today you're going to be observing me design a project that it's going to be a prototype, meaning it's artificial. It doesn't have a user. It doesn't have a client. It doesn't have an owner. But it's going to be a residence. And now I'll explain a couple of the steps that I'm taking. But this, like I said, is going to be a prototype that I'm going to be placing in a section on the website on Habanero that is going to be called prototypes. But this section aims to help you grab concepts on the go that are pre-manufactured, not necessarily the last resource to start your project, but something that is going to catapult your or test your site if you want to use that design. So next year, expect that. So this is going to be one of the couple of prototypes that I'll be sharing with you. But again, this video today will be a little venture that you and I were going to be doing. We're going to take the project from ignition to in a schematic design level. So the aim of this is just to illustrate how I work and how typically an architect works. There's many ways, but today, since we're dealing with an imaginary concept, there are going to be a lot of assumptions made. So hopefully we'll have fun together. And so I'm going to plan to spend on site and exploration, say about 2 hours would be fine. I think that since I'm going to be making the decisions, there's not going to be feedback and anything of that matter. I think that this would be okay. So cycle one of just the design cycle, generally speaking, I tend to go 3 cycles, ending with a meeting with a client, receiving feedback, going again to the board and kind of like configuring the design as I'm going, right? So I'm just going to have 1 hour of design cycle. I think I have a good idea of what I want, which I'm going to start conveying. Then I'm going to jump into CAD. So this is computer assisted drawings, and I'm going to test my exploration and my first design cycle based on the analysis. So this would be analysis. And then for that, probably 2 hours. I don't want to exceed that. Then I'm going to jump into 3D model. I'll just go back to now to finalize production and really I'm planning on doing an animation. I'm planning on doing 3D renderings, give or take, maybe more, maybe 2. Then I'm going to do a 3D distribution. So kind of like an axonometric bird's eye in lieu of a 2D drawing. So now we have 3 and 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then 12. So I'm going to be spending about 12 hours exploration. But first, part of the exploration, just to understand where I'm going. So I'm going to talk about the goals and then aspirations and needs. So I'm going to design a house for a family of 4. It would be the budget. I'm going to set something in the 1.2 to 1.5 million range. So that talks a little bit about the quality and the space relationship and what you have. As far as spaces, your usual suspects, it's going to be 4 bedrooms in total. I'm going to, including a guest suite, let's say 3.5 bathrooms. one being the master bathroom, of course. All of them, they're going to count with his own closets. Let's say that we're going to have a living room. Let's also say that we're going to have a common uh, shared public space, obviously a kitchen. We're going to plan for a two-car garage. Um, so let's see where with this with these kind of ideas, um, what the project will entail. Because the shape of the site kind of goes as a triangle. It's a wedge, and we have a main road. There's a neighbor over here. There's nothing over here, so that's pure land. Of course, that's north. So our son, it's gonna be born here at the east, and it's gonna set at west. So my hot zones are gonna be these two quadrants. Now there's some trees over there, so these are my hot quadrants. There's some trees over here, so I'm not too concerned about getting toasty on this side. But it's talking a little bit about what can I do and what can't I do. We know that in Raleigh, north, east, and southeast, that's where the breezes come. If for what it's worth, we may or may not use that piece of information. So the side kind of it's entailing. It's relatively flat, but here it's dipping down. There's a creek that goes low over this side. So the topography is kind of doing this, like ramping down. So the idea is to create a design that it's gonna be a little flexible with the topography. All right, so initially what I'm thinking, the side kind of does this wedge. So we have 150 feet from there to there. So it is pretty big. 214, so that's the front view as to where the road is. 250 on this side, and then 205. So increase, since this is dipping down, I can use a diagonal scheme here and a bar, kind of like a boomerang, and have the cars just fit directly here, enter the house in a straight shot. Single story, I think, would be good to match. The other scheme that I was thinking, perhaps it's an L, it's just a straight on L, where I divide public zone and private zones. So private, I would put all the bedrooms in this end, and then they will converge somehow two terraces, right? One and then two, like coming down, having the main entries here where the road comes. So that's another kind of party that I could be using. This scheme really take away in the downstairs area, notch it out, and then create a platform, almost like this platform and volume kind of intersecting each other. That could be cool. So this is what I'm thinking. If we subtract this portion of it and then take this out, if that makes any sense. Here's the road. It's just so that it's parallel to my side. I know that this is cascading down, like this is going down. I could do a horseshoe of some sort here to, again, two wings, This could be a 2 volume, this could be a 1 single kind of volume. So I'm liking this one. So let's put a pin on this one, because that really connects all areas and leaves for some visuals. Like if I can do that, that would be a cool scheme. So, I mean, I put something on this side, on that side, maybe just a translucent, like some connection between these visuals, and so that when as you're arriving, you get that connection from front to back, almost like. So in essence, we do have a almost like a horseshoe, but then on this side, we also want to kind of create this back bracket, and then connect these two sides so that they really intersect each other. But there's a flow in visuals. So this scheme really, I'm liking. It's almost like a double horseshoe that I'm really, really digging in. Maybe, and just maybe, this scheme can work. The idea would be that we would be dividing these 2 volumes, correct? So maybe they're just 2 long bars, 2 bars that are connected with a bridge. This scheme might actually work. Yeah. All right, so it has been a couple of hours, at this point closer to 2. So I'm going to start wrapping up. So I want to show you really fast, kind of like the summary of this bad boys, and I'll show the one that I selected and give you the explanation of why I think that's the best route. And at the end of the day, like I said, I ended up picking the double horseshoe scheme that I was looking at initially. This one was very appealing, kind of like chop on and subtract this intersection of 2 volumes and planes, kind of create it could be a screen porch or something at a double story, sorry. But unfortunately, the topography of the site is very shallow. And again, it's not going to maximize and give me a price per square foot range to be at $1.2 million. So for those reasons, this is the one that I'm taking off. L scheme was very bland. The road, it's all exposed to the road. Even if I mirrored In other words, I do this. It's blocking, it just feels awkward to the side and very simplistic, very bland. So I was expecting to also, to do a double story at the way back and then kind of leading with a single story. Perhaps that could have been a garden roof, like a vegetated roof as you come in. But again, the road was in this side. So I was thinking, although I'm leading to the northeast corner so that I get really good light and had that indoor outdoor, I felt like this wasn't the route that I wanted to take. So for those reasons, that one was out. This one was just too complex for what it was. It's interesting to angle the courtyard and make it so that it really shoots towards the northwest. But northwest, we really don't want to have that exposure. We do have the tree line over there, but at the same time, it will further complicate the structure. I think that it's not worth looking at it. This one had a really good sense of appeal, but I'm counting that the topography is going to be very deep in order to kind of maneuver something like this where you have a courtyard that drops in, or terrace it like so, where you have a volume and then a roof garden. You connect it somehow to get the north east light to those two volumes. So I liked it, but definitely the strongest candidate to pursue on this prototype. I think that this is very unique. I'm just going to try this one and see how that one is going to pan out to be. All right, at this point, we're going to need to go to video number 2, part number 2 of this exercise, and we'll see the results. All right, well, I'll see you in a bit.